Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Rene, and for the next hour I will be sharing a little bit of some Lápices with you. I know we have done this last week. We're going to try to work on that particular step a little bit more today. And before I start, I really want to make sure that my message is heard. Thank you so very much for all the support that you have been giving to these events, these virtual events that we're doing every Sunday with the lessons and with the with virtual Milonga, where we ended up calling Glen Echo Milonga, although it's not been done in Glen Echo, but we want to promote, we want to still be in Glen Echo because that's where our home is. And talking about that, I really want to, I appreciate all the people that are supporting these events in particular. They have been so generous. All the donations, the efforts, the calls, the being with me all the time together. It's very meaningful, and for that, thank you so very much. Still, I don't want you to forget. I know that we already have a very nice and solid group, but if you are coming here for the first time, or this is your first time logging into these virtual lessons, and you're part already of the Tango community in the Washington DC area, or you're from Baltimore, or you're from Philadelphia, or from Richmond, or from Delaware, or from everywhere in the United States, or everywhere in the world, and you want to support us, please do so, because not only these particular events, all the virtual lessons behind them, behind all these activities, is the artist. If you don't support the artists, the artists are going to stop doing their job. And we need to produce art in order to survive. And if we don't do that, art is going to stop. And we don't want to do that. And I'm positive that none of you want that to happen. So if you can, if you are in the position that you can help us, please do so. I always put a link where you can donate through my PayPal, through my Venmo. But not only I'm asking you to donate to this particular event, there are so many happening in our local area. Let's start by doing, like they say, buy local, eat local, right? So let's do that too. Let's first help our neighbor, then we can help the rest of the community. There's you might not realize, but there's so many other people behind us in the tango. It's the dancers, it's the musicians, it's the sound engineers, it's the organizers, it's the teachers, it's the shoemakers, it's the dressmakers, it's the suit makers. It's a bunch of, it's like an army of people that right now they don't have anywhere to go to. So if you help, if you chip in, I as a tango dancer, as a teacher, I might need to buy more shoes or more pants to show off with you, or I would bring more musicians to these events. And once again, the events are not even to help me. The events that I do for the musicians are entirely for the musicians. So please, I am asking you to, once again, if you can, please help the arts not to die. In this case, the tango art, okay? So that said, let me get started with the lesson. It's, like I said, it's going to be a very exciting a lesson, mostly for us to remember and practice what are the mechanics of this step. Last week we were practicing to do two Lápices back to back, and we were using, as a leader, we were using our right leg. Now, we're going to use the left leg. The left leg is not, for most of us, is not the strongest side of our body. Most of us write with the right hand, and the left is a little bit slow. But if that doesn't, when you think about your body, it's going to be a little bit difficult probably to move that leg. But on the other hand, your balance is going to be supported on your stronger side. Okay, so I want you to remember that. Everything becomes a lot easier when your balance is anchored. I'm going to rephrase that. When your balance is well anchored. If I completely anchor my axis, I'm not going to be able to move. But if I correctly do it, I'm going to be doing a very nice job. So, before going to the steps, I want to practice with you a little bit what is happening when I do the lapis. Okay, I'm going to actually put my pants. I am trying to be. I'm not really sure if this is working with my pants because I wanted to have a contrast, especially when I am using the sticks, and I have a little bit of a surprise for the sticks. But we're going to do that later. So the exercise that I want you to, I'm going to do it in front of the camera. See, don't worry about what you're doing with your upper body now. Just extend your leg, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See, every time that I am doing this, let's start by doing, I'm going to rotate 45 degrees. This, I am so sorry, I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. So, this is my front, 1, 2, 3. See, this is 90 degrees, right? From here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's very simple, right? When I'm doing that, I want you, all of you, to see my profile. I'm going to move 90 degrees to my left. So I go. My foot is drawing a very nice semicircle, half of a circle. And then I pivot, so to end up bringing that foot from behind and forward. Now, that is the exercise for a standing leg, because that makes me feel the moment that I have to lift the heel. And that moment is when I am behind. I arrive behind, and that is helping me. That momentum of my leg being behind me is helping me a little bit. I'm taking that momentum in order to finish that spin. Okay? That was actually too much energy. Bam, bam, bam. Slowly, if you get better at this exercise, you're going to realize how easy it is to add a little bit of more of energy there, and you're going to be spinning, see? 180 and 190 without thinking too much. If I pay attention to that, I can go 360, okay? Especially if I am dancing with my partner. For now, I just want you to, again, we're learning to do this. So, and we're learning with the weakest side of our body. So I want you to try to do, just especially for those that are right-handed. If you're left-handed, you're on the right side. So I want you to start practicing first. See, I finish 90 degrees and I am extending that foot in front of my other foot, in this case, in front of my right foot. Now, provided that I do that exercise, I want you to combine the two back-to-back Lápices that we're going to end up doing. My starting front is going to be this way. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later when we do the foot part, but right now I want you to look at me from head to toe. I apologize for the sounds. Probably you're listening to right now. My neighbor is doing something in his apartment. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to pivot, but I am not going to bring that foot in front of me because my dance partner is using that space. So if I bring that foot in front, she's going to trip over that foot. So what I want you to do is to try to leave it a little bit on your left side. 1, 2, 3. See how like I'm actually in the middle of the lapis. I'm not bringing it forward. I'm trying to leave it. I'm trying to leave the tip of my shoe on the ground, and then I'm doing this. That movement that I'm doing, which is a pivot, in tango is called aguja, which means a needle. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. The last one is going to be in front of my other foot as we were practicing doing the 90 degrees lápices back to back. But now we're going to do this, see? 1, 2, 3, pivot, 1, 2, 3. We restart. 1, 2, 3, pivot, 1, 2, 3. Okay? I want you to make sure that the more that you practice this, certain muscles are going to start bothering you. They're going to get really tired. In this case, because your right leg is supporting all your weight, your quadriceps on your right leg is going to like feel very nice and tight. On the contrary, on the left leg, you're going to feel more on the muscles on the side of your leg and your glutes, because your glutes are what are actually moving that leg. When you throw your leg here, your glutes are holding, they have to hold the leg in that position. See, it's kind of like doing this. So make sure that at the end of your practice, you feel, if you feel that your glutes were working, that's a good sign. So, slowly, but very slowly, I don't want you to try to do this right away. I'm going to try to do it a little bit connected with the music. The music is going. 1, 2, 3. So if I do the 90 degrees exercise first with the music, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not very difficult, right? As I can practice this 100 times. When I got it, I'm going to try to work the other set. 1, 2, pivot, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, pivot, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, pivot, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, if you have taken lessons before with me, you know that I hate to count. I am very intuitive when I'm dancing, and I don't like to have patterns. But I am counting this time because I want you to find that set of 1, 2, 3. Or if you don't count, if you're more intuitive like I am, you might want to find that quick, slow in the music. Okay? That's when we do the syncopation. And it is very important to recognize that when we are dancing. Now, what am I doing with, and I'm going to introduce you to the new, our dance partner got some shoes here. And actually, in order to make it very, very clear which is which, I'm not really sure if you see the light, but I'm going to make it green probably. That's going to be a little bit different. So this is the right foot, yes? Yes, I think so. And this is the left, yes. So we have our dance partner here. The right leg is wearing the fancy high heel shoe. The left leg is using a shoe, just one shoe, and it's a sneaker. So in order to make sure that you're understanding, I want to do it in front of me. We're going to go very, very slow because the way that we're doing the molinete is a little bit different on our left side. Still, I generate a very nice molinete. I go to the side. She's taking a side step with me. Then I walk forward a step. She walks back a step. Then I'm going to move her just using my chest. See how I'm going to move this stick, the black stick with the fancy shoe, her right leg, just with my torso. I switch my weight completely to my right side, so my chest is on top of my toe. And then I give her the next direction. See how the stick went in an angle because I'm pushing here to collect and then to start a side step. After that side step, I'm using my chest still to start the spin. I'm going to lead her the next 2 steps. 1, she's going with her left leg. 1, 2, look what I'm going to do with my feet. I never stop moving her into the molinete. And when she's going to the back ocho, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. In her side step, I pivot. And then once again, in her back ocho, I start my lápiz. 1, 2, 3. And then I place my foot forward. She's going to make an embellishment. Maybe, I don't know. She's going to kick probably forward. She's going to kick probably another step here. She's going to walk forward with that foot, then walk forward with her left, and finally 6, 7, and 8. This part, the connection of the steps, to tell you the truth, I don't really care too much the perfection of the steps, but I want you to make sure that in your head, all these movements are being generated and are being connected. What I'm doing at a particular moment, and that is that depends on first your lead and the precision in which moment I have to start to do this. Now I'm going to show you the same thing but in a different angle. This is my line of dance. So I go side, one step. Look how I'm switching my weight and I'm using just my ankles. From here, 2 steps. 1, 2. In the second, during this, the second step, which is a side step, going back, she's going back and I'm switching my weight to my right foot and I'm collecting my feet and then I'm ready to go 1, 2, 3. She's making a forward step, that's her third step, and then look where my foot is. From here, in order to keep moving, I pivot here. I moved my body and at the same time I'm moving her. Whoops. At the same time I'm moving her into the step. Okay, these shoes don't want to stay. I have to stop for a second. So let's start it again. What I was saying is that it's very important for us to move the torso. I walk that forward step. Look at my ankles. My ankles are the ones that are creating the first part. If I don't use my ankles, I'm never going to be able to let her know exactly what I want with that right leg of hers. If I lift, if I move, I'm lifting that leg and I'm placing it here. And then is when the molinete starts. If I go, pam, 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 oops, pam, pam, pam. Once again, I don't mind to, we're not focusing in the execution of the music that much today, but I want you to make sure that the lead and the following starts clear. Starts, and not only at the very beginning you're knowing what to do, you're doing everything at the same, with the same energy. A critical part of this movement is when you're going this part, it's kind of like very clear. I lead her to a side step and then see here, I have, if I just use my arms, I'm blocking with my body and she's like not going to come. But if I move my core, meaning, look at how extended my left ankle is. But then if I create space with my core, if I boom, she's immediately, she's going to want to use that space. It's like I'm moving like a matador to create that. As soon as she steps that forward step, I'm collecting my feet and I'm preparing for the first part of the molinete. Later on, we're going to count the steps of the lady. Don't worry too much about that. The one thing that I want you to think about is when her left, don't forget, the ugly shoe is her left leg. When her left leg is going behind, I need to start doing the lapis. See, 1, 2, 3. Here is when I do the second part of my my connection of one lapis to the other. The one that we practice. And then once again, I repeat. She's going back and I start 1, 2, 3. And here is where I extend my leg forward. I'm going to see, she's walking. She's going to leave her right leg behind for a long period of time because she is going to take probably some time to do something fancy as well. I don't want you to rush here. Probably she wants to do an embellishment. She can kick probably. Don't rush her. Enjoy. That's the moment when she's telling you something. She's telling you, wow, what a wonderful lead you are. Or probably, hey, I would like to go faster. Or, can we connect to the music? So you have to listen to those messages that the lady is telling you. She walks one forward step. See, I cannot go. I could go somewhere else here, but I want you to cut it short. Lead her another forward ocho. And from here, resolution, as we have been doing all the time. 6, 7, and 8. If you have done this before and you're very, very good at doing the lapis, think of practicing this with a little bit of your musicality. Although I'm doing it, I'm using the sticks still, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster with the music. Okay. We're going to take a little bit of a break with the sticks, although it's very important what I'm going to say now. Every time that either you're doing the lapis or you're stopping and then you're leading forward ochos after that, you have to understand that you all the time are switching your weight. Remember what I said earlier, that your leg, in this case, because we're doing our embellishment, the lapis, gentlemen, is an embellishment that we're doing, a masculine embellishment, if you want to call it that way. So while we're doing that, with all our weight, our axis is on our right side. So I want you to make sure that not only at that moment, every time that you're walking, your axis is changing from one side to the other. So if you remain with your axis in between your feet, you're never going to have a solid structure. You're never going to have a solid and trustable posture. And that's what we need in order to make our dance partner feel very comfortable in our arms. They need to make sure they have to have this feeling, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. And knowing what you're doing is being first in your axis. Even though that you cannot do the fancy stuff, even if you cannot do the lapices, if you have a very good posture, if you have a very good balance, that is going to come easily in time. But if you don't, and if you want to try to fake it, just to do the lapices, the embellishments, you're always going to have problems. So, and you're never going to be able to lead it correctly. Now, see, once again, I'm going to put this up here. In the first part, see, side, when I start, right after I do the forward step, my forward step, we're just talking about the leader. Don't worry about what the follower is doing right now. See, I go and my foot is arriving first, but then I move my chest. And the way I'm moving my chest is not just like I'm going with my chest. I'm pushing with my ankle. That is making me go forward. And then I'm actually moving her to my left side in a line. That's when my core is working, the muscles in my core. You have to feel that your obliques are working and a little bit the inner muscles in your lower abdominals. Okay? After that, you move like a matador. Look at my feet. 1, 2. She's going to the third step. In between the second and the third, you switch your weight. See, I'm collecting my feet and immediately my weight goes to my right foot. So the left is ready to start doing the lapis. I lead, I keep using the muscles in my core. My upper body is still moving independently of what my feet are doing. My upper body moves and I am counting 1, 2, 3. Look where I left my foot. My weight remains on my right foot, but the left is just touching the ground with my shoe. And then I'm going to pivot both feet as she does side step. At this point, we are back, our chests, our hips are right in front of each other. Then I keep moving my torso. See how like here I'm with her. Here I'm not with her, I'm with you, but she's here. And her leg is going to the back ocho. That's when my left moves again. 1, 2, 3 steps. She steps the third. See, look, I'm collecting kind of my feet, but then I end up extending. When I extend, I'm going to try to open my hip a little bit, meaning that my knee is not going to be pointing in front of me. My knee is going to go a little bit on my left side. I wait. I'm going to be very patient, all the patience in the world. I'm going to welcome whatever she's doing. She probably is like tapping my leg. She's probably brushing my leg. She's probably doing something on the floor. And at the end, when you feel that she's stepping, look, I switch my weight to my left foot. I pivot her. Here, I'm kind of like caressing the ground with my toes, but I'm not here. I'm showing her already you have to walk here. Immediately she walks, I need to keep walking with my left foot in order to do the 6, 7, 8, right? So she's walking, I'm collecting, and I am going 6, 7, and 8. So now I do it with the sticks so you can see. And I'm going to go very slow and very small, so it's not very, it's not a lot of effort. Side, my weight goes in between my feet first, and then I move here. I move with my chest for her to go to a side step. Then I am moving. I'm transferring my weight again behind me, and that means her forward step. side. In between this side and her back step, I collect. My torso is never stopping. When she's going to the back ocho, I start 1, 2, 3. See how like I'm holding in the number 2 my foot here, and then pivot with her. We are both now, our hips, our chests are in front of each other. I keep going. My torso starts the movement. She goes back. I start pivoting, and 1, 2, 3. I place my foot. I'm going to move a little bit here so you can see my foot stops her other foot, and here's where I'm going to be patient. She steps over that foot. I switch my weight to move the other leg. I invite that leg to come forward. I collect and I switch my feet so my left foot is ready to go 6, 7, and 8. I know that for most of us this is like, wow, that is long. But see, this is just one side. If I would like to do both sides, remember what we did last week? I'm going to refresh your memory. We take 5 steps to the crossing. We move that leg. We start 1, 2, in the third, Lápices. We do the same thing. She does side step. When she's going back, 1, 2, 3. And from here, we were inviting her to make a forward step, right? Now, look what I'm going to do. Forward step, side step, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to put this to rest. Because I have identified the left and the right, because some of people requested, Renee, the sticks are not very clear. That's the reason why I opened the curtain, so you can have a different contrast. Let's see if that works a little bit better. But again, if I would be doing that fluidly, gentlemen, and with the music, probably my movements will look like this. I know that when we're learning, it looks like it's an eternity. Even if I'm doing just one lapis, it feels like, oh my God, it's so difficult. How I'm going to do this? That is because we're doing it very slow. If you take the speed, well, let me rephrase that. I want you to learn it slow. I want you to sweat a little bit doing it slow. Only then you will appreciate very, very much how it is to use your muscles. And you're going to recognize which muscles you're using. You're going to be able to say, oh, this is correct or this is incorrect. If you do it just immediately fast, then you start making these mistakes because, you know, you're enticed by how to do the movement, the cool movement, and not so much for the most important part, which is keeping your balance stable all the time and lead with your torso. In order to do that, not only you have to keep your balance completely solid, but you also have to practice this association. I don't want to give you that much information, but just for now, I'm going to say there is a lot of this association that you're doing there. So, first, try to practice slow. As soon as you develop, try to listen to music. The music is going to make you go a little bit faster and faster every time until you get the count of that 1, 2, 3, or quick, slow that I am calling for. Okay? That would be the part for the leaders. Now, let's go to the part of the followers. Okay, so let's do the followers part. Like in the previous lesson last week, we are not doing anything different as a follower. We're not learning something that it's like complicated or that is going to take us thinking too much. I just want you to focus in the quality of your steps, meaning that you're creating movement. You're creating not just a movement, you're creating a beautiful movement. So these exercises are going to help you get in control of that movement, get in, like, own your movement every time that you're following. I'm going to start reminding you of a very simple exercise that we did many weeks ago, probably in the 3rd or 4th lesson, if I'm not wrong. If you would like to know more about that particular lesson, go back and review it a little bit if this is kind of new for you. I'm going to imagine that I have a polygon in front of me. I'm going to draw that polygon first, imaginary, on the floor. I'm going to start with a 6-side polygon, and it's going to have a shape of 2 sides here and then pointing sides on the extremes next to the camera and in front of me. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the reason why I'm asking you to think of this polygon is because when you exercise, you have to, whenever you're practicing this at home, you have to make sure that your steps are straight lines around one axis. That axis is, that space of the axis is going to be used by the leader. So if I think about that, I'm going to try to go, this is my first step, a straight line. The next step is a line that is going a little bit on the diagonal side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm ready to restart going 1 here. Okay? If you have the training of a grapevine in your head, once again, I'm going to do it again with that in mind. I'm going to go, this is the peak of that polygon, the one side of the polygon. I go forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back. Okay? Try to make sure that when you're practicing this, you don't only complete that polygon, try to go a few times, probably 3 or 4. So because like in this case, what is happening, I start doing a forward step here, but then when I finish, it changes to the backwards. Okay, so try to have that in mind. That is going to practice a lot in your in the way that you're executing this. Another thing that I want you to, well, before I say that, now we did 6, right? the idea is that slowly I'm going to be reducing this. Now see, we did it with 6. Now I'm going to take 1 away, and I'm going to do just 5, and I'm going to draw that pentagon in my head first. 2 sides here, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the flat line is right in front of you. Then I have these other 4 sides. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I keep going wherever that, in this case, pentagon is taking me. Trying to kind of like make sure that my body is connected, my upper body is connected in front of the axis, and that my hips are doing a very nice job trying to disassociate what my upper body is doing from my lower body. As let's say you have practiced your 4 times with the pentagon and it's feeling good, you want to do more, then you're going to take one of the sides, and you're going to take that pentagon is going to get turned all of a sudden into a square. Corner, 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 corner. I start, and here is where I want you to realize something. If I step, see, in my head, I'm trying to make straight lines all the time. So if what I mean by straight line is that I'm going to be walking in front of my other foot, square, and then take the side step, which is the next one. Now, if I am doing this exercise and I don't pay attention to where my feet are going, and I just think of the corners, especially when I'm doing the square, if I just go like this, I'm not really sure if you notice what I'm doing wrong, but instead of walking a straight line, I'm trying to walk towards the leader, towards the center, and I'm already preparing to go to the side step. If this happens, what is going to feel like is that when you're walking around the leader, the leader is going to feel that you're going to almost collapse against him. So I want you to make sure when you're doing this molinete and when you're practicing, I want you to feel like your legs are being taken over by the centrifugal force, but your upper body is trying to stay as much as possible in front of the leader. But for now, and I'm going to talk about this later on when we do the footwork, but for now, I want you to make sure that when you're doing the square especially, make sure that your feet are going in a straight line. You're stepping under your elbow, and look, when you do that, there is a very nice pivot that is taking me in a slow pace. You have to feel that pivot, especially after the forward step, long, and especially after the side step that is taking you to the back ocho. Those 2 steps have to feel like, oh, that's a long pivot, okay? I don't want to emphasize how is the way that you do it wrong, but focus in this part, that you're trying to go under your elbows all the time. Okay, now when you have taken care of that part and you can manage to do a nice square without losing your balance, and in a very nice and strong, solid way, I want you to take an extra side, and you're going to do just a triangle. For that, I'm going to use the help of my friend here. See, I'm going to just do, my triangle is going to be like this. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm here, and I'm going to try, you don't have to do it really big. Try to keep it closer to the axis. 1, 2, 3. And keep going. Bum, 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 bum. The more you allow your body to feel how the pivot is happening and how your upper body is moving, especially when you're going here and when you're going here, you're going to start developing this awareness of what your upper body is doing. When we do this movement of this association, my hips are going towards that direction as opposed to my torso is going to the other direction. See, there's my obliques are working here to pull my upper body towards that direction, and my abdominal muscles, the inner abdominal muscles, are pulling towards the other side. So if I come back in front of you, those abdominal muscles are actually kind of on this side. So I want you to feel, whenever you, I want you to feel that after you practice these exercises, you feel the stretch in your inner abdominal muscles. Very important, when you're practicing this, make sure that you're stepping under. Even if I'm not going to use the help of the sticks, I'm just going to go under and not having a predetermined a shape. If I just want to practice this, I can go under my elbow, and my elbow is my best reference. I can do it in a straight line. Okay, this is going to help you to develop that feeling of your core, that your core has to be all the time engaged to the movement. And finally, for these particular steps, I want you to, like I said before, slowly, I want you to start developing this feeling when you do a molinete, that your legs are going away. They are being taken by the centrifugal force, as opposed that your torso is with the leader. So look what I'm going to do. Let's imagine that I am doing this with an imaginary leader, my pillow. I'm not going to have a close embrace. I want you to practice like this before, for now. So if I really make my steps with a little bit of energy and let that centrifugal force take over my legs, this is going to end up looking like this. Especially when I make the forward step, I feel like I'm throwing my whole body a little bit away of the leader. I'm not walking towards the leader. Remember, you're drawing a very nice polygon around the leader. If you go closer to the leader and then you go away from the leader, the shape of the figure that you're doing around the leader is going to be like in the shape of a star. When you're going like this, that means that something is wrong in your walking, in your molinete. And finally, I want you to practice this, having all this technical, once again, this is all about your technical skills, not so much about the steps. I want to show you what happens in the steps when you're doing this. So this is the left leg of the leader. This is the left leg of the leader. This is the right leg of the leader. So in the first part, what is happening is side, forward. Here, the legs of the leader are not going to be moving, but his lead in his chest is going to invite you to make a forward, a back step, collect your feet and go to the side. Then he's going to ask you to start going forward. Forward. During your back ocho, you're going to feel that he's doing something on his own. Don't let that stop you. If you look down, you're lost. Try to just flow. 1, 2, 3. He's going to pivot here, and 1, 2, 3. Then he's going to place his left leg, blocking you. At this point, arrive. Look how I'm arriving. This is the last step, the number 9. I arrive, and my whole body is on one axis here, and the other leg is completely elongated. In tango, we don't have two knees bent. One knee is elongated, the other is stretched. One is bent a little bit and the other is completely elongated. In order to collect my feet, I'm going to go up. And I'm going to keep going up if I want to do an embellishment. Kick, I can kick here too. Then the leader allows me to go. Another forward step. And then 6, 7, 8. But I want to repeat that little part. See, I arrived here, right? I do an embellishment. When I'm doing this kick, I'm lifting. I'm going to put the sticks away from your view. I'm lifting my leg using the upper part. I have to feel that my lower lats, my glutes, are lifting that whole leg behind me, and at the end I'm using my hamstrings and I'm stretching my ankle. That is very important. So this is like this. I do that kick. Now, in order to go to the forward kick, I do it flat, knee up, hip up, go down and walk. The same situation on the other leg. And here, in the last part, I'm dragging that leg. I'm not moving in a block. This is wrong. Because if I do this, I'm going to probably lose my balance at the very end a little bit. So make sure that you walk, you relax, leave that leg behind, and then finish 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to count for all of you that count those steps. See, now I'm going to do it without the sticks, just your part. Side step, back step. Very important here, when I'm going to the back step, I'm making sure that I am stepping right behind my foot, my other foot, and that I am making a very nice elongation. I elongate. Every time that I need to do another step, first I'm going to come back to my axis and then take the next step. Come back to my axis and the molinete starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the number 9, you're going to feel how the leader comes down. He's not giving you any more in energy, so you don't have to keep going around him. So here the energy stops and the leader is going to invite you to come forward. So this is an 180-degree pivot, but you're letting the leader take you there. Whoa. I arrive here, my axis is still on my left leg, my other leg is elongated, very nicely elongated, not like this, but feeling that my muscles are engaged, my leg muscles, my butt, and the muscles in my back. That's the only way that I'm going to be able to collect very nicely, do the embellishment behind, embellishment forward, another embellishment forward, and finish 6, 7, and 8. In the case you want to practice to move your legs in a different way, which I would really appreciate if you can do that, because when you do these kicks you start recognizing the group of muscles that you have to use in order to do these movements. That is very useful. Don't forget, we are learning how to move our body, not just accidentally. We're trying to create to be able to produce this beautiful movement. So if you acquire that technique by doing something else, when it comes for you to do something on your own, you're going to be able to do it very easily. So I'm going to do that again, the whole exercise, but I am going to be embellishment all the time during the movement. Side step, back ocho, side, and here it all starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can you see the difference when I kick? That those kicks, if I do the exercise one more time, and I start the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whenever you're doing that kick one more time, you're using the muscles in your abdominal area and the muscles on your sides of your body, obliques, abdominals, and you're doing this. In order to be able to kick kind of like towards my elbow, my hips are rotating to the opposite side, my shoulders are with you, and I am able to lift that leg in a very compact feeling for you as a leader. I'm sorry, for you as a follower. So it's very, from my perspective, I'm trying to explain to you why I'm doing this. At first, it's going to be a little bit tough, lifting and pivoting at the same time, but I want you to start enjoying what you're doing. When you're in control of the movement, it feels like, I can make these interesting movements happen. So that's where I am aiming. If the leader does a double one, what does that mean? Then instead of 9 steps, you're going to be doing 18 steps. I'm going to start how we did it last week. We did the basic step, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the molinete starts on the right side of the leader, not your right side. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And here immediately the leader is going to make you go another 9 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know that right now we cannot practice together. Not all of us can practice together. If you have a couple at home, try to practice and feel, ladies and all followers, try to feel the lead first. I know that I'm asking you to kind of memorize what you have to do, but then I need you to feel, to give the gentleman this little bit of resistance in your body. If the leader doesn't feel that resistance, the leader is going to let you do what you have to do, and he's not going to worry about leading you correctly. I didn't want to emphasize about the musicality, but for all of you that already know a little bit of musicality, try to match this walking in a sense of slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. I'm going to do it again, the full thing. Trying to do that. Let's do it with slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Whenever you're, once again, this is just an example that I want to give to some of you that are very aware of the music, but try to, if you're new to this, if you cannot hear the music, but you're worried about the steps, don't worry, nothing has changed. But I want, don't forget, as a follower, you're following the leader on one side, and you must follow the music at the same time. If you receive a bad lead, it's going to be extremely difficult to follow the music. For that, if you don't, and that is going to happen very easily if you don't have the right technical skills. But if if your legs develop this ability to stay in just a very strong axis all the time, even regardless of the lead, you're going to be able to arrive with the music correctly. You're going to have to sometimes to request the leader a little bit more of time, so you, with your movement, you're telling the leader you're off the music. See, this is run, ram, pam, pam. So the leader is going to that was perfectly done with the music, so he's going to also try to get into that, go back to listen to the music. Don't forget, it takes 2 to tango, and that means not the follower is this much and the leader is this much and the follower is just running around the leader. We have 50-50%. So we have to communicate, we have to say something. If the leader is doing something wrong, use your body to let him know what he is doing wrong. And the same of us leaders, we have like a little bit more of control of that, because we're taking everywhere the lady with our body. So it's a must for you that you require your balance all the time, a solid balance, because the balance that you have is reflecting in whatever she's doing. If you lose your balance, most likely the follower is going to lose her balance as well. So this is pretty much it for today for the ladies. Now let's take care of the footwork. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to get rid of my shoes because you know, my shoes are covering the way that my feet are working, and that's exactly what, especially for you leaders, I want you to see basically how my feet are working all the time. I'm going to do first the first exercise that we did, which consists in, see, once again, the first part, look at my foot from the side. I know that my foot is very weird, my foot is very flexible. I'm not expecting all of you to do exactly the same, but the idea is that when you point, you really feel that you're touching the ground with your toe. We're going to play with big toe on the floor, a little toe on the floor. Big, little, big, little. So remember that part. For now, see, I'm going to do this in slow motion. I'm going to do the first exercise that we did in the first part of the lesson. So I'm going to be turning 90 degrees at a time. But I'm going to be doing a lápiz. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? As you can tell, when I'm going in that 1, 2, 3 shape, I'm trying to go in the sense of the music. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Okay? If I miss one beat of the music, I can wait in this position until the next beat comes out. And I'm sure that to take that next beat. Now, I'm going to do this on the side. I ask you to be aware of me using my toe and then my little toe. Look where I'm going to use my little toe. So here I'm touching the ground with my big toe. I'm going backwards, all with the big toe. But in the middle of it, I need to pivot to do the 90-degree angle. So when I'm collecting, see, from here, I'm bringing my little toe, and then I finish with the big toe again. So I'm doing a little bit like this. I start with my big toe, I go back, but then I bring it again. Like when it's behind, I kind of am like doing this, and then finally this. So if I would be wearing my shoes, you would never see this movement that I'm doing with my foot. And I want you to remember this shape on your foot. So when you're doing it with shoes or barefoot, it's going to feel a little bit different. Okay? Now, this is just an exercise. It is not the final work that you're doing. Then instead of doing just, before I forget, the standing foot. I don't want you to lift the heel, because I said earlier, in order to give power, energy to your pivot, you have to lift your heel. That doesn't mean that I want you to lift your heel like this. That is very unreasonable. I want you to look again. I'm going to do it slow. Look how I am barely lifting my heel. Okay, my feet are a little bit sweaty and they're getting stuck in the floor, on the floor. So that's the reason why I'm not doing it perfectly. But you have seen, I disconnect probably my heel just like this every time that I pivot. So whenever you're doing this, I really want you to notice that your foot, in this case, your right foot is disconnected from the ground. Now, going to what we're doing, now I'm going to do the second part of the exercise. So, I start 1, 2, 3. See, I'm not elongating. I'm just holding it here, and then once again, I raise my center. I raise my whole body and pivot. That has to be done in just one beat. Ta, ta, ta. And then I'm ready to 1, 2, 3 again. In the last one, I'm going to extend my leg, and I'm not going, because I'm not, when I finish, I'm blocking the follower's direction. So I cannot block in front of me. I have to block on her side. So look how my foot is not with the hip closed. My knee is opening a little bit, and that makes my little toe touch the ground. That's how you should use your, and see how like my heel of my left foot is not on the ground. I'm not doing this. I'm lifting that heel. So this foot is extremely light. If the lady trips over my foot, I'm going to be able to move immediately. This stop, this blockage that I'm generating is just an illusion. I'm actually not blocking. This would be to block. I'm just I'm creating this illusion that I am blocking. In reality, my foot is ready to keep dancing. So now, if I do it, remembering the steps that in which we did this exercise. This is Ginger, representing the right leg of the lady. This is Fred, and is representing the left foot of the left leg of the ladies. So I go side, forward. I'm moving with my upper body, and the reason why I'm showing you is because I need to show you how my ankles are working here. When I say lift your center, I'm asking you to use your ankles to lift. See how like my heel is being lifted, but not because I lift the heel. It's because I'm pushing with my ankle, boom, and then I use just my core to move her to the side step. Immediately after that, she walks. Look how my feet are moving. I'm pivoting. I move my torso, and at the same time, as a consequence of moving my torso, see how my torso is already moving her foot forward. And I keep going. When she's doing the side step, I collect my feet, and when I collect, I'm trying to be very precise. I'm not collecting here. I'm not collecting here. I'm being very precise. Then, as soon as I got here, I'm going to switch my weight, making the left completely free, because when she's going back ocho, I start doing the first 1, 2, 3. I hold it. I do the pivot that is taking her to the side step, and then I do again. 1, 2, 3, and instead of doing anything, I'm going to bring it forward and block. Slowly, she's going to bring this leg. She's going to pass. She's going to probably do some embellishment, pass over, and look, once again, I was here, right? She passes, I'm going to switch my weight. The moment I switch my weight, I'm inviting the other leg to move. And I create a space for this leg to know that it has to use this space again. I collect as if I would be a soldier. I switch my weight to free my left foot so I can do 6, 7, and 8. At first, remember that we spoke about how to control the direction. At first, you're going to be, because you're practicing and you're on your own, it's going to feel a little bit awkward because you're not going to be doing it perfectly. That is going to come when you practice with a partner, okay? For now, we're practicing our technical skills. So once again, look at my ankles, please. Now, it's worth mentioning at this point what I asked you to do right after the first part. You were here, you lift your heel, I mean you lift your whole body by pushing the ground and lifting your ankle. And right after this first pivot, which is 180 degrees pivot, when I mean place your feet together, if you don't place your feet together, right together, like this is not going to look good. This is not going to look good. Nor this, nor this. Always make sure that you're going perfectly aligned with the other foot. It's very important. Either you do it with the left foot, when you do the embellishment with your left foot, or when you do it with the right foot, all the time, as I'm asking the ladies to do, to create beautiful movements, you also, gentlemen, are creating these movements. You're not using your arms, you're not using your head, you're not using your shoulders, you're just using your core and your feet in a very elegant and masculine way. I'm able to embellish, like to not only to call the attention. I don't mean by saying that you're going to be wowed by the audience that's looking at you, but you know, when I see this kind of movement, that movement moves something inside of me. That movement has vibrations. And that movement makes me feel something inside. And my inside is like cheering in every cell. I want you to have that feeling that you can control the movements of your body and create chills, create vibration in the eyes of others, in the souls of others. Okay? So be very careful. Even when you're collecting your feet, try to make sure that that is a very nice movement, that is very aesthetical, that is like solid, because you're the frame. You must look nice and solid. Okay? Now for the ladies, I'm going to always strive in the very first part of this step, this set of steps. The first thing that you're doing, you're walking back. If you take a back step like this, it is going to be very difficult for the leader to lead you in a correct way. I want you to never forget that when you are doing these exercises and you're walking back, make sure that you're walking right behind your other foot, and that the leg that is going to take the step, in this case my left leg, is completely elongated. The step can be very short, but my leg remains elongated. That means elongation, in this case, means that the back of your knee is completely flat, and you're controlling the movement from your glutes, not from your knee. Okay? So remember that. That's the first thing that is going to happen. And I'm going to do it in front of the camera. When I take that side step, I need to come back to the axis in order to take the next step. When I keep going, my foot brushes the other foot in order to take the next step. So if you're looking from the side, okay, in this case we're doing side step, back step, and from here side step, and the molinete happens. The molinete, as we have established, I want you to try to go under your elbow all the time. Now, how you're going to step? Remember always the exercise that we did drawing polygons around an axis. If you try to walk, instead of walking in a straight line, and you walk here, I'm going to do it forward step. I'm doing it correctly. Forward step, pivot. My pivot lasts for a long a period of time. If I walk and I'm not walking in a straight line, and I walk towards the leader a little bit, see what happens with the pivot. The pivot doesn't last long, and it's very hard for me to control the length of that pivot. I'm already here, as opposed to whenever I step, first heel, then transfer my weight to the metatarsal, I have more time on my axis to pivot correctly. Let's say I did that step here. Look how my right foot is going to behave after that. I brush my foot, and then I'm going to the side. My toe is going to the side. My ankle is completely elongated, not as if I would be dancing ballet. It's a little bit relaxed. And then, see, I'm projecting, and then I push the ground until I can be able to do that nice and elongated step. When I'm collecting the other foot, same thing. I transfer my axis towards the other foot, and the other foot is being left behind in a very nice line. For the next step, I'm going to collect, brush. The collection is not freeze and walk. It's just on the go. Pa, pa. Not even pa, pa. It's pa, pa. Okay? So, one more time. If the leader is leading to the other side, the same situation. I am asking the leaders to make sure that when they collect their feet, they feel their feet are perfectly tied together. If the leader looks not good like this or like that, imagine you with all those beautiful shoes that you have stepping like this or collecting like this. So make sure And this is a very interesting technical skill that an exercise. In order to make sure that my my feet are together, I'm going to try to collect my heels, the internal side of my heels first, and then I'm going to try that both sides, internal sides of the ball of my feet, feel each other. This is a very good exercise to realize where your feet are. This is extremely important, okay? Now, when you're doing the last part, when we did the planeo, you're walking here, the last step of the molinete, this would be number 9, and you're pivoting and you're arriving here. Look, as I explained, but look at just my feet. When I raise my center, in other words, when I stretch my standing leg, that is making my feet collect, and both legs are elongated. I'm trying to lift as hard and high as I can. That creates a very interesting and nice movement. If this is wrong, what I'm going to show you now, in modern tango, in more academical tango, we don't have this position. This position doesn't look very nice. We're going to try to avoid having both knees bent, because this is completely breaking your axis. You don't know which side is your axis. So when you're in this position and you're going to raise your center, try to make sure that all your body is upwards, and you're going to feel how your standing leg is like really nice. If the leader for any reason goes down, the leg that is dancing, in this case your right leg, remains completely elongated. If for example, the leader does a pivot here, your leg is ready to dance, as opposed to this. This is kind of like, it makes my axis a little bit wobbly. If I keep that leg elongated, I'm sure that where I am. So that's the reason why, if you anticipate that movement coming from your core and you try to do this, it's not going to look nice. Always move your center. After you arrived and both legs are completely straight, then you can go and play with the other exercise. When you're kicking back, see, I'm lifting my whole thigh. I'm not just doing from my knee down. I have to lift this portion of my leg. Boom. And at the very end, I'm using my hamstrings to bring that foot closer to my torso. A little secret there: if you lower your center in the last part of the kick, you lower your center, meaning that if you touch your belly button, you're going to lower towards your toe 1 inch. That is going to give you a very horizontal look, and it's going to make everybody feel that you have kicked almost a star. Okay? That can happen with both legs. If you overdo it, you're going to end up doing something like that. So it's teeny tiny. Nobody needs to notice what you just did. Okay? So don't do it too much. Don't do it too little. Right now you're in a stage where you're learning these movements. Try to practice. Try to make it, you can do it a little bit longer, just to make sure that your axis is in control. That's what is most important. And like I said earlier, when we're doing the kick, the first part of the kick is try to go horizontal. Then I'm lifting
my knee, my hip, and my heel of my standing leg. I lower the foot, the knee, and the hip, but my heel is still up. When I'm taking the next step, then I lower. I know that it looks and it is going to feel that you're staying there forever. At first, we have to learn how to use our muscles. Everything needs to be a slow exercise. Then, if you acquire this technique and you master it, you're not going to have to think. Everything is going to happen like you were born with it. So keep making a little bit of an effort in order to make this happen in a very, very nice and smooth way. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you learned something. I hope you practiced something. And most of all, I hope this kept you connected to tango. That's our main reason for that encourages us to keep doing these entertaining and awesome lessons. It's a way of being with you, although not physically, but at least virtually. Please log. You have to come to our Glen Echo virtual Milonga tonight, because we have a great, we have one of a kind event tonight with Otros Aires Miguel de Genova. He's going to be sharing some time with us, some quality time with us. He's going to be singing his wonderful songs. This is not our classical tango that we love so much, but it's exploring new ways of doing tango in an exciting and very, very wonderful way to do it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure that you log. We're going to start the meeting at 7:30. And once again, it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you so very much again for allowing me to get in your houses with these lessons. Thank you so very much for all the contributions that you're doing to these videos, to the guest musicians that we're inviting, and to any tango event that you're going. We cannot survive if you are not helping us now. We are going to keep growing in tango only if we are together. And for that, thank you so very much on behalf of all the artists that bring tango to you. So let's go chat with Miguel de Genova now. Thank you.